Hey guys, so this video we're going to go over how to actually import 3ds Max data into Rhino. So last time we looked at how to actually get OBSM data into 3ds Max. So once that we've done all that and the data is finished and ready to export, we can do that. So this file here is, I'd say, final, and it's ready for me to export to Rhino. So we've got to go File, Export, Export, and then we've got to make sure that we have an OBJ format. And so I might say this is Melbourne CBD, and we click Save. And this way, and this is the settings. So now we've got to use the right settings. So just from when I did it last time, it's already on Rhino, but you can keep it as none, but changing it to Rhino will make it do quad faces, and you can see here it has a bunch of stuff ticked and not ticked as a preset. So click export, and let's wait for this to load everything. This might take a little bit of a while because we did do a 10 by 10 kilometer like radius around Melbourne, so I might just pause this video and we'll come back when it's done. So I'll say done here. Okay, so now that the export is done, you can see it's done successfully. We can open up this file. So we saved it to the desktop. It does an OBJ, so Rhino 7, and you can see that we've done the correct export settings. Now we've got to do the correct import settings. Let's do it into millimeters, doesn't really matter, but that's what I work with. So let's go to File, Open. We just saw that we saved it on the desktop, so desktop, Melbourne CBD, so we saved it as. We can change this up, but lazy is probably the best bet, because before we change it to NURBS, and that's changing it away from meshes to poly surfaces, we're going to clean up the data in the file. So let's take a second. So we got this here, and you can see if I click anywhere that's got a lot of data there, you can see it's all meshes. So this is what the data is, and first and foremost, to clean this up, I reckon I'll put this in one big layer and I'll name this mesh. So if I go here, shift click and drag it all there, take a second. But the way we're going to do this is we're going to be able to actually finalize the sitemap and have a legible map to work with. So wait for that to load, give us a second. Yep, so now it's under the big subheading, and now we'll start with the built area, I'd say. So give us a quick pause just for this to catch up. Okay, so this has been put into mesh now, and I'd say we start dividing up the built area and the green area. So we're going to have built area, green. We want the roads, and maybe just like also the trails and stuff. So it's travel, highways. You can also have the zones, because it's gonna, like you can see these areas here. This area is under a industrial, so that's all this industrial space, and then this is residential. This is parks, so that will be under green, takes up a lot of area, and just all these spaces are land use. So you can already go into this mesh, scroll down, find L for land use, and these are all the zones, elements, land use. But in saying this, there might be some that we got to take out of here that are green, because we're going to set up this file to show a bit cleaner. So zones, and then in that I'm going to take out grass, greenery, greenfield, green, and farmland, farmyard, forest. We can all go in green, and setting this up. So I know that all of these areas that are built under, click on one, building levels and heights. So how much time do we have? 4 minutes 50. So I'm going to quickly do that. So we go to building, apartments. These are of course all the apartments that they've got. This is one there, but also like carports, some carports, and then all of this, all the buildings that have 23 levels are in this layer. Might only be one. No, this is a few. So select this building. This is more the apartment one. Yep, that's where all the apartments are. This is apartment building, which obviously is a different layout in OSM. So go down to height, 9 meters, and we can scroll down, and I'll put this in built area. And let that load. Oh, that loaded a bit faster than I thought it would, so we can close mesh. We'll let this catch up. Oh, it does that now. So I'm going to close mesh, close build area, and as we're going through this, all these layers are going to be off. So this is what we have remaining to sort. So definitely know there's a massive, what's this under? This is highway residential, and this is also highway service. So these two, a lot of these layers, highway layers, we can put straight into roads and travel, and already this has been a lot cleaner. So I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to come back and show you how I'm going to clean everything up into different layers. So give me 1 second. Alright, so I've actually divided this area into these built areas, roads and travelling, greenery, and then I have an other category, which is stuff that I probably won't show. Waterway, I could probably actually put that in water. Land use, so the zones, this is all of the land use, like military, commercial, and then the beach and the water. I think that might look nice when we start colouring this stuff. So the first thing we have to do is now go from change to NURBS, from mesh to NURBS. So what we're going to do is, well, we can actually now, we can rename this to NURBS, because, and we can save this file if you want, save as, and make sure we save it as the NURBS file, because we're going to delete all the NURBS away, all those meshes. I mean, we're not going to delete the NURBS, we're going to create the NURBS and delete all the mesh. So I'm going to go mesh to NURB, and you might run out of memory and crash. Do you want it? I think my computer can handle this, so I'm not going to save it because we just saved it then, so no. So making mesh to NURBS, press escape to cancel. So while we wait for this, I'll give it some time. I'm going to pause the recording. Okay, so now you can actually see that we've finished in the background with the lines. So when we click on this, we're just going to delete, and that's going to delete all of the meshes. So if you zoom into here, click, it's all poly surfaces now. So once we have changed to NURBS, we're going to finalize the sitemap, and we're going to select these area, select some of our objects, and we're going to make sure all of this has display color by select all, select the objects. All this display color are going to be by layer and by layer. Alright, sweet. So let's change this to shaded, which might break the computer a little bit, but wait for this to load. Alright, this will be a bit faster for you because I'm sure you're not going to do such a big area of the city, which is highly dense with OSM data. But now the built area, I'm going to start changing to maybe dark grey, and the travel area I might make a navy blue, just make it like that. Green area, going to go green. Other, I might turn off this layer. I also don't think we need zone use because zone use is just at the bottom, but we'll see how that looks later. Water, you can go nice, a nicer blue, maybe even a cyan, pops out a bit more. And the beach, It's going to be sand and stuff, so it's got like an orangey colour, gold. So once we select these layers, oh, the parent layer actually, it's gone over. The parent layer would be these, so just quickly on that. I'm going to pause it and I'll show you when it's done. So quickly to show you one way of doing it, quickly before I pause it, is just shift click and make sure you got eyedropper and do that. Right, so now pause this and do it for all of them. So here's all these layers sorted out, with all the built areas being grey and stuff, and I do think that this still needs a bit of work into it, but as far as a final map, we don't have any specific aim to show any data right now. This is pretty good with the green areas, the water areas, which will be you could probably do a bit more research on, and then we get the zones turned off, so all of these don't have much data in them, but simply put, this is the way you can finalize that map, and then you can start going into these actual layers in the built area, and picking out certain ones you want to show. So if that is apartments or pubs, you can maybe make that red, and then you also can do the same thing with the materials of each layer, making it so when you go to a rendered view, it will show those not in black, as you can see here, but nicely in the greys and the blues and the greens that you actually highlight. So that's the way you can successfully import 3ds Max data into Rhino.